Hey, how's it going, everybody? If you're new here, welcome in. And if you've been here before, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I am on the road to 10,000 subscribers. And so every subscriber counts, especially you guys. And today, it especially counts because this knife is a knife that I've been waiting for the last 2 years. Let me explain a little bit. So 2 years ago, Petrified Fish released the Victor, and I really liked it. It was a budget knife that looked great, my style of knife, Bowie blade, about 50 bucks, and I was stoked, but it wasn't perfect. And then they released this version a couple months later at the beginning of 2023 with the blue denim micarta, and I pounced on it. I had to have it. I had to check it out. But throughout all of that time, I kept wondering, what if they just made a more premium version? What if? And then we got rumblings. We had rumblings at the beginning of this year that they were going to come out with a more premium version of one of my favorite budget knives of 2023. And guys, finally, it is here. This is the Petrified Fish Victor, but more premium. And spoiler alert, because I can't help myself, I already took it out of the box. I had to check it out immediately. I've been waiting for this for so long. I just had to. I had to check it out. Here it is, the more premium version of the Petrified Fish Victor. And guys, is it everything that I dreamed it would be? Almost. It's actually pretty close. The ironic part is that when I first saw this teased at the beginning of the year, I misread the listing. I thought it said titanium handle scales. These are aluminum scales with a titanium stone-washed coating. So while these do look like titanium, spoiler alert, they are in fact not. These are aluminum with a titanium coating. I'm not terribly disappointed though, and I'll tell you why. They made several changes to this. First of all, I actually like aluminum. I think that aluminum is one of those handle scale materials which is very underrated for what you get. For example, certain types of aluminum have a tensile strength that is very strong, almost as strong as titanium, but with a much lower weight. That's fantastic. It means that you get great strength without having to sacrifice weight, which you do with, say, steel handle scales or even titanium handle scales to a lesser extent. They also changed the finish on the blade. So this is a two-tone satin finish, which looks super classy. It looks really good. And to give you an idea, this is the regular satin finish that came on my first Petrified Fish Victor. And by comparison, you can see that it does in fact look cleaner. It looks more classy. It's the same blade shape, but it looks more classy. As far as more premium is concerned, the first Petrified Fish Victor was available in K110. This more premium version has 154 cm. For those who might be uninitiated to blade steel, 154 cm is very close to D2 as far as toughness and edge retention. However, what really sets it apart from a steel like K110 or D2 is that it actually has far better corrosion resistance. 154 cm is considered to be a stainless steel. While most people would complain about the lack of stainless properties from K110, you don't have to worry about that as much with 154 cm because it is more stainless. Another change which I am so happy to see is the pocket clip. It's the same pocket clip, but you'll notice that this one does not have this polished mirror look. You know, from the outset, you might think, well, you know, that shiny pocket clip looks premium. It is very reflective and it works really well, but I never liked the shiny clip. Now we have this matte finish and the aesthetic is perfect. Also, this knife feels lighter. I actually haven't weighed them both yet, but if I had to guess which one was lighter, I would actually say this one is lighter. And I have a good feeling that I know why. If you look at the regular Victor, you'll see two shadow boxed steel liners. Shadow box meaning that the liner pops out just a little bit from those scales, versus this, which is aluminum, meaning that they could actually inset a single liner, and then the other side is just milled out aluminum. So you have a little bit of weight reduction there, which is really, really nice. And then as far as the backspacer is concerned, instead of micarta, we of course have an aluminum backspacer. This is one of those things which I was kind of disappointed in, to be honest. I knew that it was going to come with a black backspacer, but I can't help it. Why couldn't we have gotten a titanium finish backspacer that matched the body, just like we got a micarta backspacer that matched the body on this one? I don't mind the extra pop of black right there, but it just doesn't match anything else. Now, that might not be the case if you were to order one of these with a black blade, because you can in fact get this with a black blade, and you can also get it with a ceramic coating instead of this titanium stonewash. So if you want it to be more scratch resistant, you have a couple different options on these more premium Victors. But the name of the game is aluminum scales and 154 cm blade. That is the upgrade. Now you might wonder, well, I mean, is it premium? I would say that it falls in the category of more premium. I would actually go as far to say that this is actually how they should have released it to begin with. This is a $75, $76 knife roughly. It will go upwards of $90 depending upon if you get the one with the ceramic coating on the scales. But I don't really see a need to do that. I think that at this, the $70-ish price point, this is a phenomenal value. I'm really excited about this one because we get a bit better of a steel, we get better handle scale material, we lose a useless liner, and everything else pretty much stayed the same. There is one more change, which lefties might not be a fan of. You'll notice that on this one, the pocket clip is not in fact reversible like it is on the $50 version of the Victor. Now, I don't necessarily see that as a huge deal, and I'll tell you why. When we look at these knives, you'll notice that on the show side, it's a clean aesthetic on the blade. There's no markings, there's no indentation, nothing. It's just a clean blade. On the other side, we have what I consider to be the most flicker-friendly deployment fuller I've ever seen. It's not quite a hole because it doesn't go all the way through, but it's kind of like an inset fuller, and I love that. However, because it's not on both sides, that means that the best deployment option for this knife is going to be for those who are right-handed, which is a bummer to you lefties. I remember when I made my video on the original Victor, I had plenty of lefties saying, yeah, it's cool that they made the pocket clip reversible, but I wish I had access to that fuller, and I don't. So I think that Petrified Fish ultimately heard people and said, you know what, we're not changing our design, we're not adding another fuller on the other side. We're just going to go ahead and make this one non-reversible on the pocket clip. So lefties, I am sorry. But the good news is that if you are one of the majority who are right-handed, this might actually speak to you. I really enjoy it. I think that for reverse flicking, you can't get any better than this in this price point. It is very much the same knife, just with more premium materials. The balance is perfect. No difference there from the other version. The blade shape is gorgeous. The lockup is roughly the same. Yeah, I would go ahead and say that the lockup is a little bit better on this one. We're looking at about, I would call it 25, maybe 28% lockup on that liner lock. As far as blade centering goes, yep, it is dead center. Lockup and lockout is not an issue at all. It is very much locked up and locked out. We have a little bit of jimping right here. It's not as much as I wish it had. I kind of wish that we had the jimping all along this spine right here, all the way until that clip goes into effect for that buoy style tip. But we don't. Is it a big deal? No. You can, of course, still choke up with a bit of a trigger pull right there. It works well. And we have had no issues with the plunge grind on this whatsoever. And I can say that because I have actually reprofiled and resharpened this one, and there's absolutely no smile on that blade. So while they do cut it close on that plunge grind, you don't have to worry about putting a smile on that edge when you go to sharpen it if you decide that you want to reprofile it or just keep it in good, sharp working order. Something that I wish that they had changed but didn't. Two things, actually. We'll lose the lanyard hole. This knife is plenty big, guys. If you are someone who has medium to large size hands or even large size hands, you're not going to have any issue getting a full 4-finger grip. I've got what is considered to be average size hands for men, and I have extra space here on this handle scale. So yeah, the only time I ever condone the use of a lanyard is if I need it for extra purchase or for help getting it out of the pocket because it is super buried in there. And that's not the case with this. The pocket clip is phenomenal because look at all that room you have in that pocket clip. You could put this over Carhartts, some thick jeans. You know, you could line your pockets with Hanks, and this would probably fit over the Hank and your pocket seamlessly. There's no issues with it ergonomically speaking. I don't know necessarily why we have a lanyard hole there. So yeah, and then of course the second thing that they didn't change that I wish they did was the T6 body screws. That's it. That's it. And honestly, having carried a Petrified Fish Victor so many times, I can tell you that those things have never bothered me. I have taken this one apart several times before to clean it and to maintain it. And I can tell you from that experience, I haven't had any issues with the screws stripping. So those are good quality materials there as well. That's it, guys. I'm super stoked on this one. I will do a follow-up video on this here in the future to let you know how this knife is holding up. Will I end up liking it as much as the original Petrified Fish Victor? We'll see. We'll see. Has any of the sugar and honey dried up over time? Only time will tell. And to make sure that you are here when I do that follow-up video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, guys. And by the way, if you want to watch more awesome knife and EDC content, go ahead and click on one of the videos that pops up next.